it's Bogdanovich in at the small forward. And for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard is out there with Marcus Morris. Then it's Patrick Beverley in at the 5 spot. A super Greg for the Los Angeles Clippers in Kawhi Leonard and in Paul George. Greg, they have 2 elite wings, great defenders in their prime.
Give them credit, but also Kawhi Leonard pushing the levers behind the scenes. He wanted another superstar to join him in recruiting Paul George, who still had 2 years left on his deal in OKC. Kawhi took unprecedented control of his free agent destiny.
Now here is George. Following the miss by Michael Conley. Over Mitchell. The shot by George, no good.
You know, he made an easy shot so much harder, and it really cost him the...
Fantastic backcourt facing off tonight in this one, Smitty. Let me ask you, do you think this is a guard-centric league right now?
Kevin, it is. And no matter how tall you are and what position, pretty much 90% of the guys now can dribble, they can pass, they can shoot. We have guys that are 7-footers that we're calling guards. So I think right now this is a guard-oriented league.
And checking out Utah's opening lineup at the forward front, it's Bogdanovich and Ingle. Conley and Mitchell, the talented backcourt pair. And it's Gobert in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Conley, the pass to Gobert. And the call is going to be, yes, it is, an illegal screen.
Beyond the leaning, you could see his feet more set on that screen. Easy call.
So difficult to stay planted, especially with all the motion around you. Annoying turnover.
And here's Beverley. He had 15 points last out. On the wing, Morris. Back to Ibaka. Inside, Leonard. Bogdanovich grabs the miss.
Even though he missed it, this is the exact play your offense is designed to produce.
Mitchell finds Conley. Doesn't get it to drop for him. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Home court didn't seem to help any last time they met. We'll see if it makes a difference this time.
Rough game defensively. I mean, they lost a lot of the individual matchups, and the help was slow to rotate.
Point blank, this is a bad combination. If you're looking to get stops, that's not the way.
Here's Conley. Paul George making his last shot. Conley gets the bucket.
And Conley, because of his quickness and wingspan, he plays bigger than his size.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
Kevin, Doc Rivers gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. There's no question this team can shoot the ball. And that's the philosophy he's instilled here. The long-range shooters they've got, he wants them to move the ball from one side of the floor to the other. And then take that first open look that's available. Kevin?
All right, thank you, David. And here is Conley after Paul George getting his 3 to go. For Beverley, Conley's shot is off.
Missed opportunity. It's a makeable shot for him. He just can't get it to go.
And already over a decade in the league for Mike Conley. He never got past the numbers game to make the All-Star team in the crowded Western Conference, but make no mistake about it, Conley is star caliber.
And here is Conley. Kawhi Leonard getting his 3 to go. Conley kicks to Gobert. Nice ball movement by Utah. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Mitchell. From the top of the key, he buries it. And Greg, you talked to Conley. He'll admit he's been frustrated trying to break through and get that recognition.
Still, the way he plays the game, not focused on his individual numbers, unselfish, and focused on what the team needs to win.
Woo, that's just a case of bad defense and even worse offense.
And he uses the glass on the layup.
Already with a bullseye on his back, Donovan Mitchell reacts to the defense, and he scores.
Leonard against Bogdanovich. And yes, it's good. Leonard's got his second bucket of the night.
This is as good as it gets for a first quarter in terms of shooting the basketball.
Mitchell against George. Gobert dishes to Mitchell. And the pass to Conley. From the arc. Rebound by the Clippers.
And all quarter long, it's been the same story. Inconsistent with his offense.
George against Mitchell. Over in the corner, Conley. Back to Mitchell. Over George. The rebound by Ibaka.
You expect him to make that, especially from that distance.
Leonard. He can't get it to go. Good D by Bogdanovic. Conley against Beverly. Conley, the pass to Gobert. Back to Conley. Pass to Bogdanovic. Latrey. Rebounded by Serge Ibaka. Ibaka's got 4 rebounds in this game.
And despite a fair amount of turnover, the Clippers have made the playoffs 7 out of the last 8 years.
I am so surprised. When you lose Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, you expect a complete rebuild. But the team stayed competitive throughout. And now they're well positioned into the future.
And a first time out of the game called for Utah. And in recent seasons, we've seen Serge Ibaka involved in some extracurriculars. You get a little chippy out there.
Yes, indeed. Last season, he had a 3-game suspension. Penalties can escalate for repeat offenders, something he's got to be aware of.
Los Angeles. So Utah going with an almost entirely new group here. Derek Favors checked in for Rudy Gobert. George Niang comes in for Joe Ingles. Royce O'Neal's checked in for Bogdanovic. And it's Clarkson in for Mike Conley. And it's Mitchell missing. Clippers leading by 8. And Jordan Clarkson is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Outside, Batum. Back to Jackson. Cousins inside. Working on Favors. And Cousins throws it down.
And they have owned the paint so far, and the score reflects it.
I'll tell you, this was their strategy coming in. They obviously identified a weakness there inside.
Here's Niang. 8 points his last outing. 3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. And the rejection by Zubac. And it's out of bounds. The Jazz able to retain possession here. Shot clock at 6. Favors trying to break free. Fires the jumper from the corner and nails it. Jackson deciding where to go with it. It could go, and it's good. But hold on, the officials may want to look at that one on the replay monitor. And it looks like they are going to review the play. The question, did he get the basket off in time?
Yeah, it's hard to tell on that one. And so a good time to go to the replay and just to make sure if he got it off on time.
And the call is going to be overturned. The second look shows that he did, in fact, beat the clock.
Yeah, they're glad they're going to get those points. It wasn't too long ago that they wouldn't even have looked at it on the monitor, but replays here, and it's here to stay for situations just like that one.
And so it's Los Angeles with a 10-point lead. Some breathing room heading into the break. Their defense has been active and effective. We've got more NBA basketball coming your way in just a minute. During his tenure in Utah, Coach Quinn Snyder has quickly earned the appreciation of his players, including Rudy Gobert.
We're really lucky to have a coach like that. He really takes everything, with heart, and he wants us to be the best defensive team in the league, as I do. And I think when the coach and the players are on the same page, usually, good things happen.
Coach Snyder doing a terrific job with his team.
Just a great tactician, and he's clearly got his guys buying in to his message.
And glad to have you with us, folks. Second quarter of basketball. This game has not exactly been neck and neck, but plenty of time left in this one. And taking a look at Los Angeles' performance here, what have they been doing or not doing?
Well, you have to love what they've done offensively after that first period.
Crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Shooting lights out, building a big lead here early on.
They've got Ivica Zubac, Reggie Jackson out there with Kennard. Then there's Batum, and it's Cousins in at center walking down the middle. So that's the lineup on the floor for the Clippers.
And you could tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
They may not get the spotlight, but the Utah Jazz are one of the best run teams in the NBA. They're run as a legacy trust. That means every dime of profit goes back into the team.
All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, coming into the 2017 draft, Donovan Mitchell wasn't sure he was ready for the NBA. Mitchell said, I worked out in the summer with Paul George and Chris Paul. They were the ones who convinced me to keep my name in the draft. They said, look, you're good enough. Just go out there and show it. Kevin, through a couple of seasons in Utah, that's exactly what Mitchell has done.
He has made an instant impact on the NBA and the Jazz, D.A. Thank you. Here's O'Neal. That three off the mark. Steve, you were talking about the reinvestment for the Jazz. An upgraded arena, new practice facility.
Necessary moves, you know this, to stay competitive. The Jazz fans love their team, and they're showing that commitment in return.
We talk about it all the time, guys. Those second chance buckets, always the result of that extra effort.
2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul.
Pushing the action, Donovan Mitchell has an innate ability to make people foul him.
And you ask around, his coaches and teammates love Donovan Mitchell. The way he carries himself, really infectious, upbeat, but also a born competitor.
Free throw dropped for Mitchell. And going into the 2017 draft, Mitchell was a sleeper. Maybe even Greg to himself, he wasn't sure he was ready to make that leap.
And Kevin, it was the NBA players he was working out with in the summertime who told him, man, you're ready right now. And a season that saw him second in Rookie of the Year votes validated that and built his confidence.
And Mitchell drops them both. Opening day, Steve, for some teams, it's a fresh start, and for others, it's the first step towards settling unfinished business, taking care of what they didn't do the previous season.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. I think those teams that came very close to maybe winning the championship or being there, those are the guys that are hungry. Those are the organization. They are chomping at the bit to start the season.
The Clippers shooting their first free throws here for the night.
Yeah, and 79% from the line as a team a season ago. Pretty reliable in that regard.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And he can't get the first one.
We've watched Cousins for a while. I love the way he plays with emotion, but it has to be under control.
Michael Conley, he's checked in for Donovan Mitchell. And he's good on the second.
And when you look at Utah, this team, year after year, seems to be more than a sum of its parts.
I like that they always look for guys with big-time character, unselfish, low-drama players, and there's a confidence with this group.
Pass to Clarkson for three. Utah getting another chance here. Outside Conley. It doesn't go for him. And the Clippers will come the other way. Kennard kicks to Jackson. And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line. Michael Conley picks one up.
The burst of Jackson makes him a hard guy to stick with and difficult not to foul him.
And with Reggie Jackson at the point, you're going to get more of a score than a playmaker.
And that's okay as long as you plan for that with your system. Reggie Jackson is great at creating for himself, but you'd like to see him do a little bit more to set up the rest of his team.
The free throw drops for Jackson.
And as long as Reggie Jackson is healthy, he's going to give you some punch as a lead guard. Solid scoring option and a guy who's also unselfish in terms of getting his teammates involved.
Here's what the Clippers are going with right now. Morris is checked in for Zubats. Leonard comes in for Nicholas Batum. And George is subbed in for Luke Kennard. And for the last half decade, Reggie Jackson has been good for about 15 points a game.
And that is about the consistency you can expect from Jackson. He's always been a talent. The key for him is just staying on the floor.
Patrick Beverly, he's checked in for Jackson. And so it's Leonard with it. He'll bring it up for the Los Angeles Clippers. Only given up 6 here in this quarter. Passes it to Cousins. And again, it's the Clippers missing. Jazz trail by 10. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Now the pass to Gobert. Here's Conley. Clock at 6. And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up. Greg, some folks suspected Conley might be moved when Memphis had a shot at drafting John Morant. Right before the draft, that deal took place.
I'll tell you what, he looks to be a great fit in Utah. Can be that third star the team needs to push them to the next level. Utah had to give up a fair sum to get him, but it was worth the risk.
What I appreciate about Conley, the assist to turnover ratio for his career has been outstanding.
Serge Ibaka has checked in for the Clippers. So he gets them both.
Just solid. Really one of the very best there is at the free throw line.
Clippers leading by 8. Outside Leonard. Outside George. And again, it's the Clippers missing.
Uncontested look. Can't fault the shot selection. He's money from there.
Conley dishes to Gobert. He gets that one.
Few players in the league do a better job of finding the open man than Mike Conley.
1:53 left in the first half of the game. Feeds it to Leonard. Oh, and the jam by Leonard.
Well, we know Leonard's an elite two-way machine, but there he shows us the artistry. those huge hands of Kawhi Leonard give him great control of the ball, very sparing with his turnovers.
The Jazz making a switch here. Bogdanovich is checked in. And Leonard no good on that one. And for Kawhi, he never seems like he's forcing the issue offensively.
I mean, he has studied the post games of Michael Jordan, and being able to score at all three levels has made the game easy. With his strength and his turnaround jumper, he can get his shot off with ease.
He hit 1 3 in the first, but the well has been totally dry for him in the second.
Conley, the pass to Bogdanovich. He kicks it to Ingles. Pass to Clarkson. On deep. That shot, no good. The Clippers go the other way with it. That's good for George on the assist by Leonard. George has got the lead up to 10 now for the Clippers. Beverly against Conley. It's Bogdanovich on the wing. Back to Conley. It's up a 3. And it's out of bounds. And they say it was touched by Leonard. George Niang, he's checked in for Utah. Mitchell comes in for Jordan Clarkson. Now Conley. He's coming off a 13-point game against the Thunder in Oklahoma City.
And not only was he creating for himself, he was setting up teammates with good shots.
To the paint. Here's Morris. The layup missed. So the Jazz, their last game, a loss to the Thunder. Stolen by Beverly. Outside, George. Here's Leonard. And he banks in the layup. Leonard's got 4 points this quarter.
The power, the length, the ability to finish. Leonard dominant in that painted area.
And so it's Los Angeles up by a dozen here at the end of the quarter. They've been playing some inspired defense, giving up very few easy points. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Kawhi, you have grown so much offensively throughout your career. What's the focus of that end of the floor?
Just knocking out open shots, my ball handling, making good decisions about the pick and roll, and just try to limit my turnovers.
And you've done well so far, Kawhi. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. We've reached halftime of our first regular season game.
I'm swimming.
I thought you thought maybe the first half was going swimmingly. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet. From the get-go, it was the Clippers who came out strong. They put together the kind of powerful run that every team would love to have, 10-2 off the tip. After a solid quarter of play, they held a 10-point lead. Then in quarter number 2, they actually increased their intensity to pull further out in front, finishing with a double-digit advantage at the half. And let us get your thoughts, big fella, on the Clippers.
I'm not surprised. Kawhi Leonard usually getting it done on both ends. He can get you 20, 30, 40 points a night and lock down the opponent's best scorer. True superstar, Ernie.
Kenny, what do you have to say about the Jazz?
Well, they're trailing in this game because they're shooting under 35%. Now, I've got to give a lot of credit to the defense, forcing the shooters off their spots, making them feel uncomfortable. But if someone takes something away from you, you have to be able to adapt. So they need a whole new game plan because right now they're in trouble.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We're now just a few minutes away from the start of the third quarter.
And as we dive into the second half, we'll find out if the next two quarters are any different from the first two. So far, it has been a runaway. Kawhi Leonard really has his fingerprints all over this one.
Man, he's been running wild on him through that first half. Absolute dynamite on offense.
This is his challenge, to continue to dominate, to help them try to close strong here in the second half.
And with a big gap on the scoreboard, the second half begins with very different goals for these teams. One side trying to mount a comeback, one side trying to protect their lead.
There's a built-in respect for coaches who played in the NBA. The Jazz, Quinn Snyder, never made it that far. But as a point guard, he helped Duke make 3 Final Four appearances.
Taking a look at the Jazz, Conley and Mitchell, the talented backcourt pair. At the forward slots, it's Bogdanovich and Ingles. And it's Gobert in at the 5, down low. Ibaka, wide open, he finds. No good with the triple. Smitty Snyder, also an All-American in high school, 2-time Washington State Basketball Player of the Year in high school.
Led Mercer Island to a state title, and then experienced coaching in college, the G League, and abroad. He's a lifer, and he's been around the game far and wide.
Oh, what a pass, and then he lays it in with the circus move.
So smooth. George hacks a 2-pointer. And the shot is long.
Decent look from mid-range, but there may have been a better option for them in that set.
Drops in the tray. 13 points for Donovan Mitchell.
3 straight to begin this half. Couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Pass to Morris. And just miss after miss right now. Jazz trail by 5. Here's Mitchell, and it's sent back by George. And it's out of bounds. The Jazz able to retain possession here. And Los Angeles with some changes. DeMarcus Cousins, he's checked in for Ibaka. Luke Kennard comes in for George. And Reggie Jackson subbed in for Patrick Beverly. The Jazz also changing it up. Derek Favors checked in for Gobert. And Royce O'Neal subbed in for Bogdanovich. And it's out of bounds. And they say it was last touched by Leonard. And this is what the schedule looks like for the Clippers. On Friday, they'll be matching up against Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. Then on Saturday, they'll be matching up against Eric Bledsoe and the New Orleans Pelicans. Just over a minute and a half have passed here in the third quarter. Mitchell outside from 17 feet out. Steve, Kobe Bryant said that growing up in Italy gave him a huge advantage learning the fundamentals and the tactics of the game. Do you think Europe's better at developing players than the United States?
No, I don't think they're better. I do think their system at times for certain players, they get into a system of working on their game. And I wouldn't just say fundamentals from an early age. And a lot of those guys are being able to practice with pros at an early age. I think it comes down to individuals. And I also think a lot of these parents and kids, you have to understand it starts off with making a layup versus making a 3. So I don't think that Europe is doing it better. I just think a lot of times right now we're looking at some of those European players and they're coming over ready to play from day one versus some other players. Missed 4 straight shots now. At one point, do you have to call a timeout and regroup?
And it's Conley penetrating, and there's another one for the Jazz.
Nice little run here to shrink that deficit, but can they get over the hump?
This is the tricky part. Having enough left in the tank to finish the job.
And the Clippers decide to take their first timeout here.
And Coach can't like what he's seeing, trying to get them refocused.
It's so easy to get run over when you lose even a little edge. Look for them to come out much more aggressive.
some changes. Ivica Zubac has checked in for Morris, and it's Batum for Kawhi Leonard. The Jazz also changing it up. Ilyasova comes in for Joe Ingles, and it's Clarkson in for Mike Conley. Now here's Cousins. 5 points in the game. Off target from the wing.
And I was sure that was money on that one, but everyone is afforded an easy miss or two.
Yes, let's look on the bright side. You got a great look. It's a play that you might want to go back to again.
Favors against Cousins. Just 5 on the clock. For the lead. And misses it off the right side of the rim. And it's Jackson with the ball, bringing it up for Los Angeles. Nothing yet for them in the third quarter.
And in getting that 3 to go, he snaps an 11-0 run by Utah.
You know, a big change last season for Luke Kennard happened when he stopped worrying about taking bad shots. He was asked to be more proactive on offense and start creating chances for himself instead of waiting for the ball to be swung to him.
O'Neal misses. Clippers leading by 4. Jackson with it. 1:52 left in the third. And there's the whistle. 3-second violation. And Smitty, that aggressiveness from Kennard. That's what the team wants from him.
He's a big part of their future. They need that from him. He may not be their number 1 or number 2 scorer, but he can be a very solid option off the bench or as a starter.
George Niang, he's checked in for Utah. Favors inside. He's guarded by Cousins. Shoots from the right block. Yep, it goes. And the Clipper lead is cut down to just 2 points with the bucket from Favors.
Well, and it took a terrific effort at both ends to sustain this run.
They've shown a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and they're close to taking the lead.
It's Jackson with the drive. Lays it up off the glass.
The aggressiveness of Jackson, able to drive and convert against tight defense.
Jazz trail by 4. Mitchell passes to Niang. And here is Ilyasova. Nice ball movement by Utah. Clarkson bounce pass. Favors. A shot missing. Nice D from Cousins. Clarkson against Jackson. Kicks it to Batum. Now here's Cousins. He's guarded closely. Here's Jackson. They get it back. Second shot opportunity. And no problem from Cousins as he finishes at the rim. Now it's a 6-point Clipper lead.
A quick, good shot here, and they can go 2 for 1.
Trying to squeeze out every extra possession, but they have to work fast.
Mitchell outside. Misses the 3. LA's gone 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. Outside Jackson. Passes it to Cousins. Here's Zubac. He knocks it down, but wait a minute. The officials are getting together. They may want to review this one. Well, we thought the third quarter was over, but it turns out the officials are going to review the play to see if he released the ball before the buzzer.
Yeah, that's a tough call there with the naked eye. Fortunately, the league's replay center able to slow it down, zoom in, and check all the angles.
And they're keeping the call as is. It was close, but he had not released it before the clock had expired.
Yeah, still better safe than sorry. I think they did the right thing to take another look at it. And if it's so close that you can't tell by the naked eye, might as well go to the slow-mo.
And we've reached the end of the third. Clippers lead by 6. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles.
They check it to 10.
And it's been a very competitive game so far as we get rolling here in quarter number 4. Clippers leading by 6. A moment now to reset the lineups. Brought to us by Gatorade. All fueled up here for the 4th quarter. Taking a look at Los Angeles. Ivica Zubac is out there with Kawhi Leonard. And it's Ibaka. Then it's Paul George. And it's Beverly in at the point. Paul George with the steal. Fires from deep. Here's Zubac. Lays it up and in on the nice reverse. And the Clippers lead by 10.
Man, he's got such a great touch and feel around the basket. He made that reverse look easy.
The pass to Gobert. Here's Bogdanović. And the rejection by Leonard.
Strong instincts and positioning. Kawhi read that shot all the way.
Back to George. Over Conley. And there's Paul George on the assist by Leonard. George has got the lead up to 12 now for the Clippers. George has gone 5 of 11 from the field. George against Conley. Pass to Gobert. And so it's going to be a 3-second violation out there on the defense.
A 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi Leonard last season averaged 27 points a game. That's what you call a two-way player.
And so he hits the technical free throw. And a career high in scoring last season for the great Kawhi Leonard.
Kevin, he maintained his elite efficiency. Kawhi Leonard's growth as a scorer has been remarkable over the course of his career.
Marcus Morris is checked in for Zubac. Back to Gobert. 6 on the shot clock. From deep three-point range. The shot by Clarkson, no good.
And with the success they've had rebounding the basketball, they're right where you'd expect them to be, firmly in the driver's seat.
And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for 1.
And how about the perseverance offensively? I mean, following up the missed shot, and that results in second and third opportunities.
From a low drama perspective, Steve, which stars do you think would be the easiest to play alongside and be their teammate?
I think Kawhi Leonard for sure, Kevin.
Yeah.
Doesn't say much, just goes out and plays. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jokic, a lot of those superstars. I think Paul George is another guy that goes out and just plays. So there's a few out there that would love to play alongside.
That free throw good for Morris.
Yeah, and of course, Marcus with a twin brother, Markieff, went to college together, played in the pros together. You'll have a hard time finding a closer pair of siblings.
Clarkson finds Conley. Jazz passing it around over Beverly. Another miss by Utah.
That's one he knows he should have drained.
Poked away. He had stolen by Ingles. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass.
And his competitiveness showing through. That's an aggressive finish.
He is just unwilling to settle. He gets right to the rim and makes sure they come away with points.
George, no good.
He's been of no help stretching the floor tonight. Just 1-3 in the first half. Nothing in the second.
Clarkson passes to Ingles. Here's Gobert, covered by Morris. 4 on the shot clock. Here's Conley. Gobert trying to get open over Ibaka. Back to Ingles. Here's Gobert. And finally, that one's good.
Rudy Gobert getting it done off contact. Love the increase in his focus on the offensive end.
Leonard looking over the floor. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle and 2 shots coming up. It's going to go on Bojan Bogdanović.
At the line for your Clippers, Kawhi Leonard. 2 shots.
First one falls for him.
He's an NBA champion and Finals MVP in 2014. Kawhi continues to impact the game at the highest level.
Donovan Mitchell's checked in for Clarkson. Both free throws good from Kawhi Leonard. And it's Mitchell with the ball for the Jazz. Down by 12. And we're about 3.5 minutes into the fourth quarter. Ingles kicks to Mitchell. 6 to shoot. Pulls up. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here.
Coming out of Louisville, Donovan Mitchell projected as a defender. He's a better ball handler and shot creator than people bargain for.
And you know, Smitty, he can play with the ball or off the ball. Utah's offense runs best with the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hands.
Yeah, reason why, Kevin, he draws so much defensive attention. Able to score what I love at all three levels. That creates open shots for his teammates.
2 shots.
Free throw drops for Mitchell.
High character kid, well spoken. In fact, Mitchell's pre-draft interviews helped him rocket up the board.
And so he makes both from the line. Elsewhere, the league's unveiled a new way for fans to watch. 99 cents. You get a 10-minute viewing pass for every out-of-market game. That's something.
I love it, Kevin, because I think a lot of times with social media, people are start talking about a game, and you can jump right in and get a chance to catch the most important part of the game.
And making it so affordable.
Yes, indeed. 99 cents. That sounds good to me.
We've got 1:55 left in the game. He kicks to Gobert. And here's Bogdanovich. But he recovers it. Clock at 6. Gobert trying to get open. The Jazz again can't hit it. Knocks it loose. Leonard with the steal. There's 1:17 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Morris finds Leonard. Back to Morris. Lets it go with a 3. And there's the foul. It goes on Serge Ibaka. That's his first foul. Zubac is checked in for the Clippers. Utah calls timeout. They're behind by 13. Now the presentation of our Jordan player of the game, Kawhi Leonard.
He's put on a shooting exhibition for us here tonight. He's missed a couple along the way, but it sure seems like everything's been falling for him. The only way to keep him from converting is to keep the ball out of his hands.
The better he played, the more these fans got revved up. And that continued to play out over the course of his amazing performance. Mitchell against George. It's Bogdanovich on the wing. The 10-footer. That one rolling around and runs out.
Well, he wants to shoot his way out of this cold spell, but the struggles continue.
You know, to me, this is when you want to focus on creating for others. Give someone else a chance. It's called a teammate.
We've got 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Pass to Ingles. And he gets the whistle for the 3-second call.
And it's easy to give up after a play like that, but this team needs to keep fighting.
It's just one trip down the court, but you have to have short memory in this league or you won't last long.
Here's Los Angeles now. They're on a 16-7 run. And they can just dribble the ball until the buzzer.
Yeah, they got to be happy with the outcome.
Here's Mann. Oh!
Yes. Good.
And it's thrown down hard with both hands.
Inspired tonight. They fought hard and at crucial points just made the plays.
Especially during this last run, which ultimately put the game away.
So the Clippers winning this one easily. This game may not have been the most exciting we've ever seen, but you have to appreciate just what a clinical performance they put on.
I know their fans appreciated it, and we saw at times just stretches of excellent defense. Potency from an offensive standpoint as well. They were pretty much dominant.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks very much, Paul. Congrats on the win. Where is your team's attitude right now?
Continue to play together, and we can just stick to that. Keep working, staying confident, keep defending, knocking shots down. We'll be all right.
Looks like it all came together tonight, Paul. Thanks very much. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that about wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, David Aldridge, Steve Smith, and the rest of our terrific 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. See you next time.